So the exhaust on this tractor was not in very good shape when I got it. It was fairly rusty, it was fairly beat up. I mean, it was literally held on there with baling wire. Sort of, the back of it was. I guess it wouldn't have fallen off without the baling wire, but it sounds cooler when you say that. And it was an underslung exhaust, which I didn't like, so it's gonna get plugged up with hay and everything. So I decided I was gonna come up with a vertical exhaust. Got the old pipe bender fired up, tried and failed with that, so I kind of cobbled together this vertical setup here. It's okay, I don't really like it. I was looking at it, it's like, man, I can do something a little better than that. And so I was looking at how I was going to rework it, and that's when I discovered what I probably should have tried to research and discover in the first place, which is that you could just get this proper exhaust elbow, which goes from that down here, and then we just build from like here up. So yeah, I should have done that in the first place, but that's what happens when you don't do your homework. Anyway, the issue is we have exhaust bolts on this thing, which are rusty and crappy and have not been removed since this thing was, you know, in the Czech Republic in the 90s. We actually just took the entire exhaust manifold off when we rebuilt the engine, and with it came off the exhaust system because it's only like 6 feet of pipe. So we chose not to mess with this very intelligently. Now I've been spraying oil on this thing for the last several weeks, kind of giving it a chance to soak in, but I've tried this with the 3/8 breaker bar and nothing really happened, so we're about to go straight to the 1/2 inch. Or what that really means for most of you guys is we're about to go straight to breaking bolts off in this thing. I think we can try to heat it up with the torch a little bit first, but we don't want to get this injector line too hot. Get this high dollar sheet metal protecting block in here. See if we can heat this up a little bit. I suspect no matter what we do, these things aren't coming loose, and we're just gonna have to break them and drill them out. There goes all the oil. One thing I do, I don't know if you guys can see this. See how my thumb is keeping the cutting lever from going down? There's a reason for this, and the reason is it helps protect you from accidentally cutting stuff you don't want to be cutting. That bolt's glowing pretty good. The whole point of heating things with a torch like this, for those who don't know, is if you have two things stuck together like this bolt and this exhaust manifold, when you heat them, they heat and cool at different rates, and that expanding and contracting works to break the bond of the rust. Alright, I think that one's about as good as we're going to get it. Alright, so it's just after 8 in the morning, and I've already broken my level of sketchiness record for the entire week. Let's see, I guess I'll give this a little bit of time to cool off, partially because I'm sure these are excellent fumes for me to be breathing, and mostly so those bolts can like fully solidify and harden, I guess, you know, if they're soft from the heat right now. Alright, so we've waited a while. Let's try this with the small 3/8 drive breaker bar. I'm going to try both loosening and tightening these, hoping we can move it, get it to move just a little bit. I hope these are some good bolts and they didn't cheap out and put like the grade 4.8s on this. Alright, set to loosen. Or as I call it, break. Alright. Oh, it actually moved. This is the little bit it moves before it breaks off. Tighten now, go back to loosening. Oh, please work. Well, son of a gun. Come on. That one's actually coming loose. Ow! Ow, socket is still hot. Okay, well, other socket also hot. Hope status fading. Oh! Ow! We're 0 for 1. Better keep doing the same exact thing. Seems a little easier, so that just means it took less work to get it to the point where it breaks off. I got this stupid can of PB Blaster, which works even worse than most cans of PB Blaster. There, we got some. We got some in there. Ah! Okay, well, we just got to break off one more, then we can commence the drilling. Hey, this one actually seems to be turning. And it turned until it broke off. Lovely. All right, misery status increasing rapidly. All right, so now we're gonna see if we can't break off a drill bit or two in here while we're at it. So initially I was rather happy that Zetter, when they built this thing, they did not cheap out and use soft bolts here, but I very quickly began to wish that they had, because drilling these things out is something I could only describe as being exceedingly miserable. They were very, very hard bolts. Lots of time spent heating this up, cooling it down, drilling. These were new drill bits, but there came a couple points in some of those bolts where I don't know exactly what the heck was going on. It's like we hit a really, really hard imperfection in the bolts, or maybe that's just a result from thousands of heating and cooling cycles over the years. But I mean, those are basically brand new bits, and as you guys saw, I mean, they're just melted together, and that's with oil as well. So it was just a mess. It took a while, but one thing I've learned is, even though jobs like this, sometimes they really suck, you know, once you get past all the whining and complaining about them and you actually just start drilling and torching and stuff, things go many times a lot faster than you think. You know, if you can just put your nose to the grindstone, so to speak, and get to work. And that's exactly what we've done here. Luckily, I was able to get these things all nice and drilled out. It's not going to be 100% ideal moving from here forward, because obviously there were tapped holes, which there no longer are. So I kind of had to mutilate the heads of some bolts to get them to fit up against that manifold and snug up tight. But more on that later. Anyway, for now, we're working on building the remainder of this exhaust. I've got this nice cast iron exhaust elbow. So basically all I did, most of you guys already know this already, we just take that, we trace out where all the holes go. And now one thing I did is I decided I was going to drill these holes before I actually cut this piece out, because if I took the torch to this, it might make it so it's really difficult to figure out where those dimples were from the center punch, and definitely erase whatever marks I had. So I got this flange essentially made, at which point it was basically just time to get stuff welded together and see how this thing sounds. All right, we got her on here. I made it a point to put some anti-seize on these bolts, so hopefully if we ever have to take this off again, it'll be quite a bit less miserable. And let's see what happens. Sounds pretty good. Come on. Oh, that injector line we took off. I gotta bleed it. Much better. All right, so as you can see, driving this thing, it's not really too much in the way optically. I like that. about that. That sounds really, really good at idle. So I like the concept of straight piping this and not using like a baffled muffler or anything along those lines, but I actually wanted it to be at least somewhat livable. So I decided against that, and that's where the glass back came from. I did a very small amount of research. I discovered that pretty much everyone on the internet who's ever put one of these on a diesel says they really like the sound, and I agree. I think it sounds great, personally. It does look a little odd on there, I will grant you that much. But, you know, tractor exhaust, and really aside from the color, it looks like pretty much every other tractor exhaust. We even got the little flapper cap on there. I like that. Okay, so, fairly low budget. That little cast iron thing cost some money. But, you know, whatever, tool for the job, and I want this to be somewhat proper-ish. So, I'd just like to thank you guys for watching. Hey, we got more charging action now. I'd just like to thank you guys for watching this video. And, random project. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more. I can't wait to take this thing out and hopefully make some hay with it this summer. So, thanks for watching. Like I said, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Still gotta fix the return spring in that. All right, cool.